Good morning.
Morning, Linda.
How are you?
Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
I remember when she was just a little girl. To think of how far we have come. Through the pain, through the suffering. It was always worth fighting for.
Well, that's the finish line for the 10th anniversary of the
find a cure for cystic fibrosis.
My name is Piper. I'm 15 years old. I was diagnosed with cystic fibrosis at 5 years old.
Travis Suit launched the Piper's Angels Foundation after his daughter Piper was diagnosed with a genetic disease affecting the lungs.
The respiratory therapist told us about this relationship of the health benefits of the ocean for people living with CF, and that connection is what led to participating in paddleboarding, taking Piper out on the water, and ultimately falling in love with paddling, which sparked this idea, hey, I wonder if we could paddle from the Bahamas to Florida.
Let's go.
This year marks the 10-year anniversary of the Crossing for Cystic Fibrosis, and the Ministry of Tourism, Investments and Aviation is honored that you continue to choose Bimini, Bahamas as a starting point for this long-distance paddle challenge. Not only is this year a milestone for the crossing, but it's also a golden milestone for the Bahamas as we celebrate 50 years of independence. Thank you for choosing Bimini, and good luck to all of this year's participants.
The people who are part of the core team are something really special. They're some of the most selfless and giving people I've ever met.
We call that core team the Bimini Dream Team.
And without them, I don't think we'd ever be able to do this at all.
To be here together 10 years later, a decade later from where we were in 2013, from my perspective, it's just a miracle. You know, it's a miracle how healthy Piper is. And I'm just so tremendously grateful for you guys for showing up.
I have like this huge family that's always there to support me.
You basically say, man, we're killing it. Everybody's getting checked in. We're ready to rock. Can't wait for Saturday night.
Welcome to Crossing 2023!
You know, 6 to 8 months is culminating into this moment, and you start getting goosebumps, and you're with these people and you're looking at each other and we're like, it's game on. You're pumped up, you're super excited. It's like once the crossing comes in, it's like the island comes alive.
Now it's the fun part where we get to welcome everyone in.
You know, everybody's been training really hard for it, and now it's time to go out there and get the job done.
That beautiful ocean right there, the incredible healing benefits of that ocean for people with cystic fibrosis. This air we're breathing is healing our lungs. It's keeping us healthy. And that is what you're about to paddle across.
Starting something that can have a massive impact and creating something bigger than yourself that can leave the world better than it is now for future generations.
What I want you to remember, and I say this all the time, is the crossing community. You are what has built this foundation into one of the most impactful grassroots organizations in the world for cystic fibrosis.
We're able to get a bunch of people that are already passionate about helping others, helping the environment, and we wanted to get them out there to clean up plastic and also give back to Bimini and the Bahamas. Thank you for coming clean us up. Let's have a great rest of the event, yeah?
To be here together this time, with each other in this special way, that's gratitude. That's unconditional love. And that's all we need.
One of the most meaningful aspects of the crossing are the people who show up and the incredible stories of overcoming adversity in so many different ways. we're taking a lot of pain and suffering, a lot of grief in the cystic fibrosis community, and we're using the alchemy of life to transform it into something beautiful.
To me, the crossing means love.
An opportunity to make the world better.
I don't know that there's anything that I could have found that has been more meaningful to me than the crossing.
And then all of a sudden, that last day, before the day you're going to leave, arrives, and as soon as the mind starts to really get into the idea that you're about to paddle out into a pitch black ocean at midnight, you really have to stay clear and focused and relaxed and energized. So when you leave that beach, you have every ounce of energy that you can. Because really, once you get to that point, there's no turning back. We came up with the rose ceremony as a way to bring the community all together and to celebrate what's most meaningful about this event, which is our why. I had chosen to bring in this mantra from the Cherokee culture, Ha-ne. Ha-ne means I am here. And in Hawaiian culture, ha is breath. So it's interesting that, breath is so integral, it's such an important part of the life of someone with cystic fibrosis that they're fighting for that breath their whole life.
Ha-ne! I am here! I am here!
It really drops people into their heart. And that's really the goal, because if you're about to take on one of the most daring challenges that you've ever done in your life, you really want to step into that moment with courage. And you really want to be grounded in the why. Why are you there? Why are we doing this?
Hold your rose with love. Call in anybody and everybody that you need to bring into your heart. Your parents, your kids, your loved ones, the CF community, yourself, anybody struggling, anybody hurting, anybody going through pain. Call it into your heart. And hold those roses high. 3, 2, 1.
That entire day was just about being calm and sort of confident with what I've done so far. You know that something's coming, something's really big, but you'll let that kind of take over when it needs to. And for now, it's just meditate. We did an ice bath, relax, and get ready for what's coming.
Every Sunday or Saturday that I could, I'd go out with the boat and I'd volunteer to draft with however many people you could recruit.
He did have an injury right before it.
2 months out from the crossing, I couldn't even lift my hand above my face. It was hard to open a door, and so I was pretty concerned. You know, it was sort of devastating because you're looking forward to this for so long, and then a couple weeks out, did start paddling again, regained a little bit of confidence, was doing some physical therapy, just grabbing at everything I could just to get myself ready.
You know, when a lifetime family friend says, you want to come and help me and my son do this amazing thing, you say yes, you know, and you show up ready to go. And then you, at some point, you're like, wait, what are we doing?
Okay. Everyone here has to be comfortable in the situation, and if you're not, don't be afraid to make the call. If you draw a line from number 1 to number 7, and you draw your suggested route on your GPS, you should be inside those yellow lines.
I was so confident in our team, but didn't understand exactly the details of how this nighttime navigation around paddlers in the dark.
And you're there with hundreds of other people who are about to do this super crazy thing.
Had our PFDs on, we had our radios on, and we were ready.
You see all the paddlers lined up and all the lights, and you hear their team name get called and then them paddle into the water. And
you start to feel like, oh crap, they're gonna call me soon.
To be standing on the beach in one country and know that you're gonna leave that beach to another country that's 80 miles away, you're paddling into the unknown. It's the darkness.
We were around 1 o'clock or 1:15, so we had other boats going ahead of us.
There were like 3 bands of thunderstorms that came through over the preceding 6 or 7 hours.
You know, it dawns on you like, what the hell am I doing? Why are we doing this? Like, this is crazy.
We're going to go, you know, overnight, 80 miles non-stop, 13 hours, and paddle back to the country we just left.
That was the darkest night I ever remember being in Bimini.
And to be in the chaos of, you know, 90 boats leaving the beach with 100-something paddlers.
That can be really scary for people.
There you go, Blakey. This is your chariot. Let's see it. Let's go. Tell me when you got eyes on Blake.
Literally, I came paddling up to the boat.
I was gonna do a live stream. I'm like, all right, this is cool. You know, Blake's mom's watching.
I kind of thought we were in a race, so I punched it.
I'm looking dead ahead.
Oh, we literally knocked him off the board.
Right, bad timing on the start there. The boat didn't get going enough. There's a lot of wake here, a lot of paddlers.
So 20 strokes into the paddle, and I'm in the water.
Let's get the first fall of the day over and done with.
Going into the nighttime, it's really difficult. And we had, you know, different swell directions. We were going through boat wakes.
He's lost his glow stick in the water.
There was underlying swell going one direction, and then we had a wind chop going another direction. So we had this really peaky array of waves.
After falling in a couple times, I yelled at David up on the boat and I said, hey man, if you see a boat wake coming, let me know because I can't see them. And literally for the next 15 hours straight, he was just calling out every boat wake he could see.
Got a little back wake, got a front wake too.
We tried some different sides of the boat, trying to get him in different pockets of either air or water.
There's times when it can feel like hopeless.
At 600. There you go. Get out of that.
Like there's absolutely no way. This is crazy.
You know, you think, oh, it's 13 hours and overnight, we're going to take naps and rest and take turns. And we didn't, you know, everybody stayed awake every hour.
I'm only a few hours in, and I still have a few hours until the sun comes up. What am I doing? Like, why am I doing this? Why am I here?
You're in the water on your board just thinking, oh crap, am I gonna be able to do this? Like, I gotta do this for how many hours?
Tell him I had the motors trimmed up before. I had the motors trimmed all the way up. The draft should be a lot better now, Blake. Looking good, Blake.
As we got towards the light coming up, the sea started calming, our attitudes started calming.
I was just so grateful to be able to see again.
You know, your energy really picks up. There's hope.
What side you want to be on?
I think that's when everybody's really digging deep, and I think we worked very well together as a team. There was a point where we started feeling like, okay, well, we're through the night. We're past halfway, you know, there were these sort of little mini goals.
And then we were getting to that point, I don't know, maybe 30 to 40 miles in, and it was like, okay, we're halfway there.
You know, we're monitoring him and his hydration, which, you know, is basically looking at his whiz on the board.
Me and the crew, we went over what the plan was for food. We had a set schedule. They did an excellent job of just making sure every hour on the hour I was getting some calories in, I was staying hydrated.
Staying hydrated is probably the most important thing in these kind of competitions, even at night. If you're thirsty, it's a little too late.
You know, the most important sort of connection between us and our paddler was, you know, a plastic cup from the bar, you know, taped to the end of a spearfishing pole.
When he was paddling, he wasn't stopping. So anytime we were doing a food exchange or water exchange, we were still moving probably about 4 miles an hour.
They knew the plan, they knew what we had to stick to, and they kept me to it.
Hey guys, Team Blue, coming at you from the middle of the Gulf Stream. We're on our way to Lake Worth from Bimini. We're about 50 miles in, but more importantly, we've hit about $656,000 raised total for the crossing this year. Previous record is $672,000, so help us get there. Go donate. We'll see you in Lake Worth.
I could feel a little bit of the competitiveness come back out. You know, I was asking people on the boat, where are the other paddlers, where are we at?
You know, my biggest torment through the whole trip was telling Blake to slow down when I know that he wanted to win. And I didn't know if I was helping do that or if we were going to come second by 1 minute and he was going to look at me like, you told me for the last 13 hours to slow down, you know?
Our schedule hourly, our nutrition every other hour.
We had no idea where we were. We had a good feeling that we were having a great time, but we really didn't know what position, what place Blake was in.
Coming across at 40 miles, 50 miles, 60 miles, I saw the focus and the pain, and
we didn't want to stop. He didn't want to take breaks.
We just kept on going.
Hey, coming at you from the middle of the Gulf Stream between Bimini and Lake Worth.
People didn't take their eyes off our paddler Blake, and you know, it was intense.
Bit more speed. All right. Get your breath, settle yourself.
And then, you know, a few miles later, they come on the radio and say that we got to get in the boat. There's a storm coming.
Immediately board your boats, fill out your competitive transfer sheets.
It's competitive.
And make best speed to 26:29:909.
Wrap your shit up, guys.
79.
you know, we kept forging on and until that last minute where it was mandatory, and we were like, no, and yes, and then, hey, you're going to be DQ'd if you don't get out of the water.
Like, it chokes me up today still to like have that call and be told to get in the boat, you know. And then I just looked at his legs and they were just huge. I could just see all this swelling.
I could see the looks on everybody on the boat's faces looking at me. Like there was some concern on their faces of, is he okay?
Let me get at the helm and can you just check on him? Blake, you want me to help you down there or are you good? But you don't have to go.
I knew the crew was taking care of it. They're gonna figure out where to go and when to get back in the water.
Be able to stop and feel your physical pain, you know, there was a lot of tears in that half an hour, you know.
Yeah, everybody's back in the water.
I think he would have been fine if he had just kept paddling.
Went back in the water approximately 8 minutes ago. I did make a mark.
But when you go from 11, 12 hours of straight paddling at that intensity, and then you stop immediately, that's a big problem. It's really not the way to do it.
There was a few other boats in the area getting ready to get their paddlers back in the water.
Now it's pouring, it's windy.
There's lightning hitting all around, there's storms, there's rain, you know, we're 3/4 of the way through the race.
I didn't want to get back in the water because I was like, no, like I already had to stop, so like what's the matter? Why should I keep paddling? And I see Blake get in the water and I'm like, okay, Blake's doing it, so like I'm gonna go for it too.
I didn't really overthink it too much. I wanted to just, you know, like hit resume Now you have this mental, just complete exhaustion and emotion, and your body's tight. Like, this was the adversity. You know, you feel like you're putting yourself to the limit.
And like with cystic fibrosis, like you can't just quit. Like you keep fighting to the end, and that's what I saw Blake do.
So I'm there, tunnel vision, focused in, just one stroke after another.
And that was a fight through that wind and through that rain and through that rough water.
And all of a sudden, we come up on another boat, and I look over, kind of out of the corner of my eye, and I see Travis Suit up on the boat.
And I looked over and I saw Blake.
And he's just going,
"Let's go, Blake!" You know, I just got so excited.
What a surreal moment for Travis, the leader of the organization, to be there at the moment where I'm most challenged mentally, I think. Like, that was the hardest part mentally of the entire crossing. It was just, all right, do it for that guy. Do it for that guy in this organization and just keep pushing.
We're just gonna curve in here. I'm not gonna straight line it because you'll...
Really, that last 10 miles is the hardest.
Well, that last 2 hours was just, every second I was praying.
And now you gotta push and push and push and keep going.
When I get to that beach, I want to make sure that I gave it everything I could.
Every single stroke mattered.
The final home stretch is the most painful part.
It was really cool to have that moment paddling alongside of each other, and then I just saw him take off to the finish line. I'm like, okay, bye, Blake.
Big concern is, are we on the right track, you know? Because you have the Gulf Stream is cranking right there. And the last thing you want to do is overshoot the pier. So I'm yelling at my dad, you know, the captain. We're kind of going back and forth of, hey, are we going to overshoot this thing? Don't let me overshoot this pier.
From the anchor zone where the blue charter boat is, waiting further instructions for our competitive paddler. I-2, India 2, over.
Piper Pier copy. You're dropping your paddlers in at that location and having them paddle to the pier?
We got into that final approach.
And I knew it was right to let him go and do that last couple hundred meters on his own.
You know, the boat splits off, I'm paddling up. Now I'm excited.
You start to hear the bells on the beach, and it's just the best feeling in the world. All you want to do is touch that sand. All you want to do is be home. All you want to do is see your family, your friends, and to cross that finish line.
All that work comes down to this.
You definitely get a surge of energy in that final, 100 yards as you're coming in.
I mean, at that point, you're just stoked inside. You're like, holy crap, we just did this freaking thing.
And then that's when you know he's okay, that's it, he's got it.
All my worries are gone because now I'm making it, I'm there. And trying to get a little speed, maybe catch a bump. And I go to switch sides and step back on my board and my body just freezes up. I'm like 10 feet from the beach. I go straight over the side of the board.
We fell off when we started and we fell off at the finish.
From the moment I hit the beach, it was just, at that point, it's all just gratitude.
We all persevered through everything, and we made it to that moment.
It's a lot to process mentally when you cross that finish line. To really understand what you just put yourself through.
Hey guys, I'm here with Blake from Team Blue. Just finished crossing the ocean. How you feeling? That was the craziest adventure I could ever imagine. Holy crap. Yeah, it was going smooth. I mean, it started off hard, got smooth, got hard, and then it got really, really hard.
We don't always get to feel true triumph over adversity, in a real way, in a visceral way, in a physical way. And I think people crave that in life. I think it's what's so transformative about this event.
Looking around, I see, friendly faces, people that I paddle with, my family, and then right when I saw Travis, I thought back to that moment in the middle of the ocean when he was coming past me on the boat, just cheering me on.
I heard his name, and I remember, leaving where I was at and working through the crowd and seeing him come up to the bell.
I just saw him and immediately just grabbed him, gave him a huge hug, and he gave me a huge hug back, and it was just, tears were rolling. It was a moment of like, man, I'm just so happy to have been a part of this adventure for this guy and for what he's trying to accomplish.
Yep, gotta do it.
Let's do it!
Wow, just, I don't know where that energy came from. Like, holy crap. Holy crap. Yeah. My freaking crew. Like, could not have picked a better group of guys.
Oh, it's over and we made it and we're successful, and I think Robert and I cracked a beer or had a swig of rum as a toast or something.
I think I might have had my first beer right then.
And then we're like, oh, fuck, it's 2 hours home from here. We're going to drive the boat back to Fort Lauderdale.
Like, yeah. Woo! I only finished it because of them.
To get the opportunity just to really give him a hug, right? To embrace as brothers who have shared this journey. It meant the world to me. It meant everything to me. And it's worth taking the time to celebrate love. So for everything that he had put into it, you know, that was a really special moment. And one that I'll never forget, and one that I'll always treasure. And to honor him, to honor what he brought and how he brought it. It was perfect.
I thank him, you know, and I'm so grateful and honored to be a part of this amazing journey.
I met Blake as a sponsor, and then I heard that he signed up to paddle. I thought, oh, that's pretty cool. And our very first training paddle, he was there. And I was like, wow, this dude is showing up.
I saw the work that he put into it, and you can kind of tell who's going to excel throughout the crossing.
Word traveled up to Jupiter that he was like the next up and coming paddler.
It's super fulfilling for our whole family to see him adopted by this whole new community of paddlers with a purpose.
The people you meet through the paddling community in general, but specifically the Crossing for Cystic Fibrosis, like, you meet so many people that are there for a bigger cause and just so kind to help you. Like, they want to see you succeed as much as they want to succeed themselves.
In first place, with a finishing time of 13 hours, 32 minutes, and 42 seconds, a cash prize of $5,000. In his first debut crossing performance, Team Blue, Mr. Blake Carmichael.
Slept in until about 5 o'clock the next morning and had the most amount of energy I've ever felt these last few days.
Having him step up and take on the challenge and paddle competitively for his first year, but knowing how hard he trained and seeing him ultimately get first place, it was awesome.
In that moment, to have seen him fight and then come out on top and having won the crossing, I thought that was really cool, like something to share.
When I found out that he placed, I was like, who is this kid? Where did he come from?
He's certainly trained for it, and I mean, it's incredible how much dedication went into just perfecting that.
The fact that he comes out and in his first paddleboard race, in his first long distance paddleboard event, you know, in an over the ocean environment, there was a lot of things that just, him winning was never supposed to happen. And the fact that we did, and we did it off a plan, to me was really amazing.
The whole CF community, you know, Piper, Travis, every one of those volunteers in that group, man, the energy they pour into it, they deserve the rest of us trying this hard too.
One of the most impressive things to me that I take away from that whole event was that a set of circumstances is one person's excuse for not doing something, and it's another person's reason for doing it. And that to me was just so inspiring, you know?
And if you could just put yourself in the shoes of someone with CF for one day, it makes every day for the rest of your life seem like a blessing and a gift.
The cystic fibrosis community means it means that the CF community means more to me than I can put into words.
A lot of parents can like shut down when their kids like get diagnosed with something like this. But my dad just took that and turned it into something so much bigger to help not only me but so many more people. With cystic fibrosis, just so amazing.
Oh my God, when Piper decided to do it for her first year, my heart just was like, oh.
Yeah, seeing Piper grow up within this crossing community and event, it's just such a gift. It's such a gift.
When you work for a cause as important as for cystic fibrosis or any rare disease or any environmental cause, anything that you're passionate about, it makes other things in life seem small.
All I feel is gratitude, right? And all I see is beauty. And that's the gift that Piper has given me. That's the gift that cystic fibrosis has, really the grace that we have received from this adversity. And to live a life where all you feel is gratitude and all you see is beauty, imagine that. Imagine life that way. And 10 years later, looking at the results, I can't imagine a more beautiful world.
And we ended up doing the most fundraising that we ever have before. $750,000 was huge.
$750,000 as a record-breaking fundraising goal for an event that started with one guy and 3 other paddlers and a few boats turned into almost 200 paddlers and so many boats, can't keep count of them. To hit $750,000, it just gives us that boost of energy to know that we can continue doing this for the long run and it will be a successful event every time we do it.
It feels so amazing to know that other people like me are getting help because I'm just so fortunate in my health and the medications that I have access to and how many people I have around supporting me, but other families aren't as fortunate as me. So it feels so good to know that we could be an outlet for them and help them get helped and meet new people that will be there to support them.
I'm good. I was just thinking back about like every hug I've ever had on that beach, you know. Just the hugs make it worth it. If you could simplify it to that, Just the hugs make it worth it. The high fives. Yep. We're doing it.
Thanks, Blake, for putting all this together, buddy. Yeah, putting us all together.
All right, come on, Bowie. Gotta get back to the interview now. I don't know.